understand a little bit better. So I decided to ask them, like, you know, how would you prefer to do it? And then kind of gave my opinion on that.
Gotcha.
They're working. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning. We can hear you guys. Are you all what are you doing?
So Tanya, how did that work out?
It worked out good. They understood what I was getting at, and they were giving me pushback at first, and they were just like, why do you want us to do paperwork first and all that? And I said, well, as far as the buyer's representation goes, that's something we have to get done first, just because that it's just stating that I'm legally allowed to work on your behalf and speak to these homeowners for you and do all these things for you to make your it an easier transition for you guys. And once I explained to them that, look, even if we go look at every single one of these houses and then say you apply to the first one and it doesn't work out, well, now you want to apply to the second one, now we're running your credit twice. We're doing 2 application fees, where most of the time they will accept our rent spree. Obviously don't, like Robin said, don't guarantee it, but I just kind of explained to them, that the way that they're thinking it should go isn't necessarily the best way. But I felt getting them to tell me what they preferred was better than me just giving them a bunch of information to, someone that doesn't understand the industry.
I totally get that. So that makes perfect sense. So you're making sense. So now here's the deal is, and this is last week whenever we were talking about this, I heard you say, well, man, they won't go through the process with me because they're just not comfortable with it. But understanding it's a process of you making them comfortable with you, right?
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to like tenants, because we don't have quite as formal of like a consultation process, especially for me who gets them all through Facebook and they all want to move like really fast and things like that. It's just a completely different approach. But you have to remember, like, we're still selling ourselves to them, So it's just a matter of feel them out, learn how to read people a little bit, and then just kind of switch up your process to make them more comfortable.
Man, Tanya. Let's go make some noise with Tanya. The growth in the conversation from last week to this week, Tanya, like, and this is the deal is, it doesn't happen until you just go through the process, right? And a lot of times what happens, we go deep in the process, and let's say we start off like Tanya, I get what you're saying last week. You were saying, oh man, they're not comfortable. They won't go through it. They won't give me the information, blah, blah, blah. That's very common. And then a week later of going through the process, you realize, man, that's the best way for me to handle this. The best way to handle this is get them to understand why this is important. And what happened between last week and this week, as far as I'm concerned, from what I see, Tanya, you took a whole new step in becoming a professional and an expert in real estate.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Let's go. What I love about it is I'm glad you're doing it lightning fast, and a lot of people won't do it lightning fast like you are. You're moving at like record pace, and I will tell you, it's the most painful way you can do it, yet it is the wonderful way to do it. And I think a lot of other people, they're so afraid or they won't jump into it. There's a lot of things they're not going to do, and they don't make the calls, and they don't build relationships, and they don't push. And then what happens? They don't have any business. Tanya is making the calls, pushing the relationships, building the business. And you'll notice on our Google Chats and this morning huddle, Tanya is running into a lot of obstacles. And some people are like, man, that sounds like painful, man. Tanya's going through it. It's not. It is obstacles, and it can be painful. Yet in the same token, Tanya, this is it. You are doing the damn thing. I want you to recognize that. Like, you are going through the process of what we call new levels, new devils. You're hitting so many new levels so quickly that you're running into so many problems. You were learning at lightning speed, which most agents don't do. They don't learn at lightning speed, they don't push, and they end up getting out of the business, to be honest with you. So in this conversation with the leases, guys, you're learning firsthand through experiencing with Tanya that becoming the professional as quickly as you can is the best way to be. Do not let these people make you become a jump and run agent. Oh, you want to see this house? Sure, I'll show you. Oh, you want to see that house? Sure, I'll show you. There is a screening process to help you help them to where neither you get your heart broken. And that's okay. And a lot of people say, well, the customer's always right. I don't know. I don't 100% believe that. I think especially like as you get deeper into the real estate world, Chelsea, is the customer always right? No. Most of the time, they're actually going to walk themselves into a trap. Many times they're actually, if you let them to their own devices and do it the way they want to do, because their cousin did it this way, or their uncle said this is the way it's supposed to be done, they will end up screwing themselves over. Right? So, man, I love this. I think it's great. If we can get our camera to work, it'd be even more great, but it is what it is. We'll figure it out eventually one day in the future. So, that's awesome, man. It is now 8:26. Let's get into gratitude and bucket fillers, guys. What are y'all grateful for today?
I am grateful my husband took me on some showings this weekend. They were down in Texas City. And it was the most eventful showing experience I've ever had in my life. I went to show a client of mine. It's her and her sister purchasing together, and the daughter is now purchasing with them. We went to house number 1. It was fine. Daughter met us at house number 2. She gets out with no pants on.
Oh, Lord.
She was in,
Lord.
I swear they were underwear. She said they were shorts. They were not shorts. There was nothing to them. And I'm like, okay, you're not going in anybody's house like that. And she's like, what? Like, and she's explaining she just had this gastric bypass surgery. I don't even know. And so I was like, okay, we're not going in somebody else's house unless you put the pants on. She didn't have any other clothes. So I ran back to my truck and I'm like, give me your shorts out of your gym bag. And Keelan's like, absolutely not. And I'm like, give me your shorts. We have to see these houses. Like, we got shit to do. And so I gave her Keelan's shorts so we could go in and see these houses. And I thought that's when crazy was going to end. But we're walking through the kitchen and one of the ladies is just walking. I kid you not, lifts her leg, farts, and keeps walking. And I'm walking right behind her. And it was so loud. She thought, oh, excuse me. Didn't acknowledge it. And I'm just like, what is going on? And it was so awkward. I get back in the truck and I'm just like, I just saw 3 houses. And I'm sitting there at the end of it. I don't even know. I was so caught off guard that I'm like sitting in the truck after the 3rd house. There was so much more drama that went into it. And I'm just like, I'm back to my office and I'm sticking to transaction coordinating because y'all out here in the Wild West are too much for me. But it was funny. Like there's always something. It's always something. And so I'm just like laughing. And it was quite the experience. And they didn't even like any of them to put an offer in. So it was great time.
Let's go. Chelsea.
I kid you not.
So Keelan saved the day with the gym bag shorts. People are wearing no pants and they're farting in the house. And this is nothing ever surprises us in this
Have you
industry.
seen the pre-approval yet?
I have seen the proof.
Okay.
Okay, good.
I questioned the whole lot of what we were told, but
What else, guys? What else? What are the what are your other gratitudes and bucket fillers? That was what else are you guys grateful for today? Google Meets World, let us know.
Hey, I'm grateful for the day, for Friday and Saturday, for the time that I spent with Robin in the field. That was fun, and it was productive. We had a good time. We had a good time talking to the neighbors, sweating out there. I'm out there freaking sweating, and Robin's chatting it up with every neighbor she runs into, and I'm like, okay, come on, girlfriend. We don't have to get to know their whole life, but it was fun. It was fun, and I learned a lot. And you know, we made the open house productive. We had one person show up, and I think she's genuinely interested in the house. But over and above that, we spent a lot of time just talking about. We got to know each other a little bit better personally, and then we got time. We spent time talking about the industry, and you know, like she's like, "Why don't you go and make a video of you showing the house?" And while there was nobody in there, I did that, right? And then she gave me some feedback on how to do it different. So that was cool. I enjoyed that. And then I had that listing appointment afterwards, and I squeezed that in between the open house and a late afternoon thing that we had to go to for my son and his wife. So my wife went with me, and she waited for me in the car. But as it turns out, I didn't meet with the people because the other agent, I mean, the guy was in there, guy or gal, I don't know, was in there an hour and a half, and he still wasn't done. So I got to the door, and the husband shows up, and he says, "Hey, I'm sorry, but the agent's still here." And I'm like, you know, we chit chatted for a little bit, warmed up a little bit. I wasn't stone cold, but I'm like, "Is he going to be done in 15 minutes?" No, he won't. Well, then I can't wait. I said, "I'm sorry, I can't wait. I have another appointment in Bel Air, but I'll be glad to come back and show you." So he tried to get me to, you know, so do you, you know, what's your opinion? I go, you know, I'll be glad to tell you when you meet with me. So just let me know when you're ready. And so I get in the car, and my wife was more excited. I mean, I was excited about this, right? But my wife was like, "So what happened?" I go, "No, you know, I can't meet." So she was like dejected, man. She's like, "Oh no," and I'm like, "Honey, I can tell you've never been in sales. This is part of the gig." I'm like, you know, this shit happens. I mean, so anyway, it was good. And then the lady apologized later. They didn't sign with the other guy, and you know, listen. I almost feel like that deal's going to come back to me. I mean, I feel it in my bones. It's going to come back to me. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. But all in all, I'm grateful for the energy, right? That I got to experience this weekend. I had a good time with everything. It was fun.
Let's go, Gene. Let's go, Robin. All right, one more gratitude and bucket fill, then we're gonna move on. Who's got one?
Me.
Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I am gratitude really for the my first open house was good. I have 2 people coming on Saturday and 2 people on Sunday. I was start doing like a marketing before, and yeah, so really I think it was good. They coming too many questions, asking like it was different than the others. And the others open house that I do, I was shut out. It was different, but this time they asking questions, no, but it was easier for me because it's my house. I know a lot of questions they can asking, but it's a good to teaching me in my other open house, the other house they can do. It's really before I go and do my open house, learning special good details that people can asking about the houses. No?
Let's go. Keep learning, keep learning.
Yeah.
Anybody else got a gratitude and bucket filler? Going once.
I do.
Go ahead, Vanessa, what you
Hi,
got?
good morning. So I'm grateful because my sister is probably going under contract this week. So I'll be doing my first sale. So I'm excited.
This will be your first under contract?
Yes.
Let's go, Vanessa.
Thank you. So I'm excited. And I'm probably gonna start working also with an investor pretty soon.
Keep hustling, build it, keep going. Do
Yes.
not slow down.
Thank you.
All right, guys, are y'all ready? Let's get dialed in. Here we go. Let's talk about this Motivational Monday. Here's what I want to talk about is really it's effective communication. I've been making a lot of videos about this lately. I've been talking to people about it. I just noticed that there's a lot more people that are afraid to pick up the phones and have calls. There is a lot more people that are afraid to just have the tough conversations. I think in society and the world, it's easier to just to shut down and run away than it is to have open conversations. Have you guys noticed that about people? And I heard.
Yeah, I mean, that's always. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that it's today. It's always been the case. At least in my world, it's always been the case. Nobody wants to have a tough conversation, and I've always said, "Hey, it's easier to get red in the face one time." You know, one time. After you, I mean, some of the best relationships I have, both in business and personal, are people that I had conflict with, and we faced it, we addressed it, and we walked away understanding each other. So I think it's just human nature.
Man, Gene, I love that, man. Let's make some noise. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So the point I want to get across, guys, is it doesn't matter if it's business relationships, it doesn't matter if it's personal relationships. Conversations build everything that we do. And and it's like you said, your strongest relationships usually come from the toughest conflicts. And I will tell you, there's multiple reasons and kind of ideas around that. One is, if you're having conflict with a human being while you're going through it, you're building stronger relationships. Can we agree that? A lot of the times, the people you are willing to go through deeper conflicts with is because you have stronger relationships or you're building strong relationships. I mean, think about it. I wouldn't have huge fights with a random ass stranger. I'm like, what the fuck are you? I don't care. Like, I don't really care what happens. With my wife, do we have really, really knockout, drag out, tough conversations? How many of you have had really tough, brutal, difficult, sometimes mean conversations with your significant other?
Oh my God.
Be real.
Just today or in general?
This morning and yesterday. But guys, this is the way it is. If you want an amazing relationship with your significant other, if you want an amazing relationship with friends, family, whoever, you've got to be willing to have the tough conversations. You've got to be willing to go through the shit. And this is the thing, is we get so afraid that most people, and I heard this a long time ago, people vote with their feet, not with their mouth. I've told you that before. Rather than have a tough conversation, they just walk away. They just walk away. And I got to tell you, I'm not about that. There are some people I'm like, never mind, just fucking leave. Like, I don't want to deal with your ass. Like, I don't even want you around me. And that happens. I think that's okay in certain circumstances. Yet, who really grows through that? Nobody. You got to think about it. Me and Othan right now. Me and Othan have an issue. I got an issue with you. You got an issue with me. Othan, let's say he's pissed off at me for whatever reason. Othan could just say, fuck him, I'm out, drop everything, move his license, and go wherever, right? And I will tell you, I think that's okay. I mean, you can do that. That's your prerogative. That's your choice. I'm not going to hate on you for it. However, does Othan grow from that at all? Like, is there any growth, like real growth for Othan in that?
No, man. Hell no.
Not nearly as much as you would think, right? But here's the deal: is the moment me and Othan sit down and we get real about our situation, I bet you anything, I'm gonna get better. Othan's gonna get better. We are both gonna grow. We're gonna learn. Hey, I really pissed Othan off. I didn't realize I fucked that up that bad. Holy shit, Othan, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't realize I was that bad in our situation. Othan may learn, like, damn, I did some things to rub Ozzy wrong too. I'm at fault in this relationship as well. But what we both learn is conflict resolution. In the end, Othan may still fucking leave. And I respect that, and I think that's perfectly okay. But we still get to have the conversation. We still get to talk. We still feel heard, and we get to work through a process. And the cool thing about it is Othan may be working through the process for Othan and his wife to get better. And he's just practicing with me. I may be working through the process with Othan for me and my kids to have a better relationship. I get to practice with Othan. It's a wonderful thing. Whether we choose to stay in business together or not, whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to have hard feelings. I'm not going to be pissed off. I'm not going to be upset. I'll be like, okay. I'm glad we had the conversation. I learned a lot. But we both get to grow when we move through conflict, right? So that's what conversations can do. I made a video. I think I dropped it the other day, but I want to work through something, and it's a mediation process. Have you ever heard me talk about mediation? Working through peer mediation, any of that? I'm sure some of you have. But I'm going to give you guys, I made this video the other day, but I'm going to give you guys some tools that I learned a very long time ago that we can take and we can use in everyday life that can make us better husbands, wives, moms, dads, or whoever the hell you want to be great at. Shit, real estate relationships, it can make us better in this stuff too. But I want us to talk about 4 main things. So, well, number 1, guys, we can't be afraid of just having the damn conversation. Don't be. Because I'm telling you right now, when you're afraid of having the conversation, that is usually the conversation you need to have the most. You ever done that? Who here has held a grudge with a family member for years or decades, and then one day you're like, I don't even remember why we're mad at each other. But I do remember I loved you, and I still love you. I can't be alone. Raise your hand, please, if that shit has ever happened to you before.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not alone, because I was starting to feel fucking weird for a minute there. Okay, so good. Now, we've had that situation. The crazy thing is, over a long period of time, you avoid the conversation, eventually you will have some sort of conversation. And most of the time, you're like, I don't really remember why we were mad 100%. I kind of do, but I don't. Right? But neither of you really worked through it. And here's the truth is, whether you like it or not, subconsciously, is there a little bit of scar and like tissue damage, mental relationship damage from whatever y'all went through and did not fully correctly solve?
It's never the same again.
It'll never be the same. You are going to carry that shit, whether you like it or not. And although you're 10 years later and we refresh this relationship and it feels like we were never apart, bullshit. There's going to be a little bit of resentment in there. There's going to be a little bit of animosity. And I got to tell you, it's way back here. Until you have the real conversation, somebody has to say, this is why I was hurt. And somebody has to say, I didn't know that, I understand. And somebody has to say, well, you know what? This is why I was hurt. And the other person has this, well, I understand that too. And you work through a process of getting better together. And that's how you get rid of that animosity, resentment, and that little feeling that sits in the back of your mind. Oh, there you go. Tanya's talking about it. We'll open that up in a little bit, right? But guys, that's what happens. You avoid the conversation. So number 1, when you know it's a difficult conversation, you're avoiding it, you should have that conversation. Now, I will tell you, it is okay. So let's say me and Chelsea have a knockdown, drag out. We're just pissed off at each other, right? It's okay for Chelsea to say, I don't want to talk today. I would like to put this off for a day, 2 days, 3 days. I need time to process and work through this. You don't want it to last a month, because then again, you forgot. Chelsea will forget deep down like what it was that really triggered her. I will forget, and I'll be like, I don't remember what even fucking happened. But if we set a time to say, I need a little time to move through this, could be an hour, could be 3 hours, could be a day, could be 2 or 3 days, whatever, right? But we want to make sure it is not forgotten. We don't want to forget whatever it is the issue was. Because if we forget, we don't get to address it. And if we don't address it, we can't move through it. Make sense? Okay. So I'm going to tell you, we're going to make some noise for Jerry. Jerry's in the house. All right, guys. So I want us to work through this. So number one, you got to have the conversation. So back in the day, guys, how I learned and I was trained and certified in mediation. I was in 7th grade, 8th grade. I was 12 or 13 years old, and the school forced us to go to a 3-day mediation training, right? So no, it was 7. They chose 7 kids. So they chose 7 of us, and they sent us this mediation, right? We had to eat lunch there. We had to eat breakfast there. Our parents had to sign this waiver to let us go. And we were in a class. We learned about mediation. It was a whole thing. I got a certificate. I was in the Pearland newspaper. Little chubby me was like, ee! Right? It was fantastic. Okay. I'm going to give you the things that we learned about. And I want to walk you through this process. So this is what happened, guys. We had a big issue in our school where people hated each other for whatever reason. It was about racism. It was about so many different things. But I went on a journey with a bunch of kids. So I went and got peer mediation training. I would have a period where I was the principal's assistant, where I would go sit in a room. They made our own room. It was the peer mediation room. That's all this room was for. I would go up to the principal, and there was a box. I'd open the box. Some days there were no names in there. Some days there were names. So it was little cards, 2 little cards. I pull it out, and I said, okay, I got to go get this person, this person. I would go to the class. I would get this kid out. I bring in this room. I go to the other class, get the kid out, bring in the room, and they would sit on either sides. Lori, I love you. You're distracting my ADD like
I'm
crazy.
sorry, I knew I was.
So there's 2 kids on either side. And imagine these kids were put in this box, these names in this box for a reason. A teacher, a principal, somebody identified there's a very big conflict here, and it's causing problems. Most of it was because a week before, there was a huge fight. Principal was thrown through a glass case. Teachers got punched in the face. It was like 30-on-30 brawl in our school. I'm gonna be real with you. That's what happened. That's really why they forced all this shit.
What year was that?
This was like 1992 or 93 at Junior High West, right here. And so these kids hated each other a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago. And I was forced as a 12-year-old to sit down and help these kids figure out what the hell the issue was, right? So the things that they taught me to work through in this little mediation thing was 1, attack behavior. And what that means is you do not attack a person. What does that mean, Ozzy? What this means, guys, is in conversation, I can say, Jerry, something you said the other day really. Like, that's not how it works. It's not how it works.
Still do.
I'd have to explain. You are. No, I'm just joking. We had to do that, right? We had to work that. So I had to teach these kids. When we sat down, I said, hey, guys, I'm the mediator. I'm certified in this. We're going to walk through a process. This is how we're going to start. Number 1, we do not attack a person. We attack a behavior. You will not call them names. You will not shoot it straight at them. What you will do is you will describe the behavior that hurts you and how that made you feel, and we'll work through that. Number 2, which adds to the same thing, is it's called an I feel statement. And y'all have heard me talk about this before. And what an I feel statement is meant to do, it's meant to disarm the other person and not be so like, again, attacking them. It's more attacking a behavior. It's separating them from the behavior. It's separating me from like just, I want to whoop your ass to, I did not like how this behavior made me feel. So what it does is it disarms the other person, and it also opens them up typically to lowering their guard and saying, oh man, let me listen to this person. I understand when I get my feelings hurt, right? Number 3, guys, is you will listen. You basically just let the other person talk. And this is a big one, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter in any relationship. I don't care if it's real estate, what it is. Listening is a skill that can change your freaking life. And I don't mean just listening to words that are coming out of people's mouth. I mean listening to the body language with your eyes. I mean, listening to the tone that is coming from someone's voice. I mean, studying when someone is shaking, how their eyes are moving, how they feel, like really understanding a behavior in a human being to actively listen. I got to tell you, it comes in really, really handy as a parent. Because as a parent, it's easy to say, I'm the authority, you're the child, shut your ass up and listen. It takes a lot to say, if I really want to be an effective parent, I have to learn my child. Therefore, I have to listen to what they have to say and how they're performing and behaving and bringing it to me so I fully understand how to be the best parent I can for them. Because the old way of saying shit, do as I say, not as I do, because I said so. I got to tell you, that's a broken ass backward way to do shit. Because it does not get the result you believe. And if you say, well, it worked on my kids, you probably had to do it 10 to 30 times more than you really had to in real life if you would have understand the mental game of relationships and conversations. We have to learn to listen. Guys, and this is a big one. Listen to understand. So, guys, this one, and this is different, and I want to say why it's different is when we are listening to rebuttal, it happens in more ways than we think. When you listen to understand, you're like, okay, man, I'm getting that. Okay. When you listen to rebuttal, this is what happens. You're like, me? What? No, I didn't do that. Well, what you did, that's not fucking listening. There's a difference. Some of y'all ain't got poker faces, and it's hard for you. I get it. But you got to work on this shit. If your kid comes to you and they're like, Dad, I messed up. And you're like, what is it now? What do you think's going to fucking happen? They're not going to want to tell you what's wrong anymore ever again. But if your kid comes to you and says, Dad, I think I messed up big. And they're like, Mama, it's okay. We can get through this together. You ready to sit down and talk about it? How do you think that's gonna change the way they open up and have that conversation? How do you think it's gonna change going future when something bigger happens or something even scarier? Or maybe something smaller, they're like, yeah, not a big deal. I don't want to deal with the friction that's gonna come with that. They're gonna be afraid to bring that to you, right? So, guys, these are some of the most powerful things I can teach you. It's in mediation, it's in conversations, relationships. And here's the cool thing, like when I sat in those mediations, I would have to sit there and I would say, we're going to behave like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to flip a coin, right? And the cool thing is this is where the beginning of the relationship started. I would say, who wants to go first? And it was funny. Two people that hated each other were like, me, bitch. No, they were like, you can go first. And I would say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to let you. So you want to let them go first? Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to flip the coin. And he gave you the opportunity to call in the air. Heads or tails. Boom, flip the coin. It landed. All right, so you lost. Tails goes to you. Would you like to speak first or would you like to listen first? And I will tell you, because of that little icebreaker in the conversation, they were often willing to let the other person go first and listen. It's strange for 12 and 13-year-olds to give up their power. Okay? So we go through the process of this right here and allowing them to speak. And I would have to interject sometimes and say, hey, can you do me a favor? You're wearing your expressions on your face and you're really not giving them the open opportunity to speak right now. Can you do me a favor? Can we listen to understand? And can we listen and not talk? Because they would be mumbling and stuff like that. And I would break them down a little bit, right? Or somebody would say, you're a real jerk. And I would say, hey, we're attacking them. And that's not how this works. We're only going after behaviors right now, right? So if you have the behaviors, we'll go after it. But until then, we can't. Is that fair? Then I would also say, hey, do not speak out of turn. You will get your turn. I will let you know when this is wrapped up. Okay, continue. And I would have to learn to ask questions to continue to pull stuff out of this human being. You want to know the craziest thing that I learned? They were never really mad at each other. Their battle 100% of the time was here, or at home. Most of the time what I found in kids was that their power was taken away at home every day by the same behavior, right? Do what I say, not what I do, because I told you so. Shut your ass up. I'm going to spank you no matter what. All that stuff, right? Like that behavior caused them to shut down at home. And they come to school, they let it all out on everybody else. Abuse is a big deal, right? The racism wasn't in them when they were in elementary and kindergarten. The racism was taught. The abuse was taught. All this behavior was taught at home. Here's the crazy thing. At home, because we are grown adults, and my child is 5, 6, 7, 8, and they only weigh 100 pounds, and I weigh 200, I've automatically taken the power, unless I work on actively giving it to them. So at home, when their power is taken, they come to school and they claim all the fucking power. They overreach with power, right? Because nobody at home knew how to do this. If their parents at home knew how to do this, they wouldn't go to school with so many scars and so much damage. And they wouldn't go, and this is the term is, you get cut at home and you bleed on everybody at school. And it's not their fucking fault. They did nothing to earn it or deserve it. And it's the same thing at home. It's a dirty ass cycle. Mom and dad go to work. They don't know how to effectively communicate. They get their power taken. They get treated like garbage all day. They don't know how to work through these processes. Their boss talks to them fucking crazy all the time. Doesn't give them any power at all. Where do they go? They go home and they take it out on their kids. And then their kids go to school and take it out on their kids. And it's this never-ending cycle of just trauma not being able to let loose. If we can learn to use this in business, we can learn to take it home and use it with our kids. But you got to be willing to have the tough conversations. And the tough conversations, I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but at home with your spouses, when you are having the tough conversations, sometimes your voice gets elevated because you have passion. Sometimes y'all say some shit you regret. Sometimes you say some things you can never take back. And that fucking sucks. But I'll tell you, the beauty of at home is when you love those people enough, you're willing to take it and keep on moving. But I'm telling you, there's only so much people can take before they no longer want to move with you. So I challenge you to start working on this. Every single day, this is one of the most powerful tools you can ever have. This is not I'm going to let you get off the hook and get away with your bullshit. This is we're going to have the tough conversations and move through it together because we love each other. And we're not going to tough tell and run from the truth and the problems and the issues. We are going to have the conversations. This is just some amazing tools for us to have the conversations. Makes sense? Does anybody got anything they want to add about this? Guys, this works everywhere. Go ahead. Who was that? Somebody unmuted. Anybody?
No, yeah, this is good stuff, man. You make the part that's hitting home with me is with the kids. You're right. I mean, I wasn't that bad, but I would lose my patience and say, hey, I don't have to give you any more explanations. You're doing it because I'm your dad.
Yeah.
And hindsight being 2020, I should have probably had more patience. Now I got a great relationship with my kids. We're cool, but it explained why they are the way they are today, right? They're better than me, and I'm happy about that. I want my kids to be better than me, absolutely. So yeah, makes a lot of sense. I
got to tell you, a majority of this, like not being able to properly communicate, it lives and dies or grows and breathes on fathers. Because we have naturally become some of the worst communicators on earth. Just over time, it's become one of those things. Women typically, they have these type of conversations. They get on the phone and talk to family members all day, every day. They're usually the glue that holds a family together because they know about having these conversations. They know about shutting the hell up and listening. We're still fucking cavemen. And a lot of this, I'll just be real with you. Like, it has taken a ton of work to get where I am. And I feel like I'm like 50% of where I need to be. Like, I got a long ass journey to go. This is about me, but this is about everybody. So, did you want to say anything else, anybody?
I have something.
Go ahead. We'll go to Laura, then we'll go to Lori. Go ahead, Laura. What you got?
Okay, so this is a little, on the vulnerable side, but it touches on everything that you're sharing in here. I've been with my husband for over 25 years, and around year 10 or year 12 or something like that, we had a really drag out, it really bad. I packed my kids and I left them pretty much, and I didn't go far. I went to his brother's house, but I mean, it got so bad, and it came down to communication, that he didn't know how to communicate. And, he comes, from the, you do so because I say so. His dad is very big on that. And as much as he wanted to do better, because we have two girls, and, girls are more sensitive than boys. And he had such a hard time, even with me, because I'm a very sensitive person. You tell me something, I go in the corner and I'm probably going to cry, and but I have learned, to be better at communicating and everything. And I have to break him down into like, this is, not everybody thinks in the same way that you do, only because if it hurt my feelings and I went to cry, doesn't make it wrong. It just makes it the way that I am. And we have to, work through that, work through communication, work through everything. It took us a couple of weeks, to get, to where we are. But I can tell you that our marriage is better than ever. My husband is the best person. I can talk to him a million times a day. And our kids make fun of us because it's like, oh my gosh, did you guys just get off the phone like 5 minutes ago? And it's like, yeah, that's my best friend. I love this man. And it taught me so much, and it taught him so much as well. And to this day, he still struggles, but you don't make it past, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years without having one of this drag out and learning, how to understand your person. Anyways, you're moving out to real estate, and I have learned to talk to people and everything, when to pick up the phone, when to not open my mouth, when to let it play out, everything. It has taught me to be a better agent by applying those same things. And I can tell you that this last month, one of my clients fired the title company that I have picked for her. Very good title, patent title. We use it at the office. And she fired her loan officer for her purchase. And this was 3 deals that we were working on, because of the simple fact that they would not pick up the phone and answer her questions. Everything they wanted to do, both the lender and both the title, they wanted to answer her questions via email. And she got so frustrated by day 3, she pretty much told them that she was done, they're unprofessional. And she threw, on her email, they were nasty, they were dirty and everything, in a very professional way. She put them very tasteful, she added her F words here and there very tastefully in there, and she fired them. And there was no coming back. And there was nothing that these people, we gave them every single opportunity to pick up the phone and explain to her as to why. And that's all she wanted. That's all she wanted. And they never did it. And she fired both of them. So I have to do a hard stall. I'm in the middle of vacation and I'm trying to find, what are we going to do? This is a hard situation, everything. And I got her already close, every single deal. But it just goes back to, if we don't learn how to communicate within and have those hard conversations within ourselves, within our spouse, you're never going to make it. I see so many people my age that they're rather divorced and have the strong communication, the hard conversations, because divorce is better, than accept that you were wrong, or, but it translates to everything that we do in life. And it's just, if you could just pick up the phone, your marriage could be so much better. Your relationship with your kids would be so much better, and you would lose less deals in real estate, and people would really appreciate you more. So yes, everything that you are saying, it goes full circle about understanding how to have those tough conversations. And even though she was like, fuck this place, I hate everybody, I will call her and be like, okay, Edwina, let's talk about this. Hey honey, how are you? It was like a 180. It was so funny. It was 180. She was not mad at me. She was not mad at title. She was mad at that she could not understand, and nobody was taking the time to explain to her. That's it. That's it. So don't be scared of that. That's all it takes. That's all there is. That's it.
That's
So
why.
hold-
That's why. That's why
Go ahead,
AI is going.
Lori's got next.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lori. What you got?
No, I was just gonna say we had the same this weekend. The same conversation with Basilo. He is from like, do this, do that. When I say do it, you need to do it. Don't ask any questions. And for the past 2 weeks, he has been probing Celeste, like just like nudging her, just saying just neat things. And so I've kept my mouth shut. I'm like, okay, she's gonna lose it. And sure as shit, she lost it on Saturday. And the straw that broke the camel's back was he's like, there was dishes in the sink and nobody had said anything about you need to wash the dishes, wash the dishes, wash the dishes. And so I was like, I'm gonna let that shit pile up. I ain't doing it. Somebody's gonna figure it out. And so they piled. And so Sunday we went to church, we came home and the dishes were done. And Celeste goes, oh, Dad did the dishes. I said, yeah. I said, and I'm sure when he walks in the door, we're going to get it. And so sure enough, he walks in and he tells Celeste, I did the dishes. And she said, okay. And he said, I did the dishes. And she said, okay. And he's like, why didn't you do them? And he starts going in on her. And she looked at him and she said, I've never done a dish in my life. Why would I do it now? And it's true. Like, she does not do dishes. She's a spoiled, rotten child. She's never had to wash dishes. Now she washes her own clothes. She does her own chores, but to expect her to wash, and taking out the trash was another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she told him, she said, you have been picking on me all week about taking trash out. I don't take trash out. Now you're mad at me because you did the dishes, which he always does the dishes. That's his chore. I cook, he does the dishes. But for some reason, he'd been picking on her. And so they got into it or whatever. She let him know how she felt. He let her know how he felt. And then we went to bed last night and he said, I just want to beat her ass. And I'm like, why do you want to beat her ass? Like, why didn't you just talk to her? Like, you've been probing that. And I had to tell him what he had been doing and how it was even making me feel uncomfortable. And I said, she's here for the summer. I'm like, she's never had to take out trash. She's never had to wash dishes. Like, why was this week so important that what was so different about this week that you felt like you needed to pick on her? Like, maybe asking her, not telling her. And he's just one of these men that he does not understand how to talk to people. And so last night I had to tell him, and he's like, no, fuck that. I don't gotta, he's just like, she needs to do what I tell her to do when I tell her to do it. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. But when you're like, and he's mentally grew up that way because or if he didn't do it, he got his ass beat. Like his parents beat his ass. His mom with a tree stick. I mean, he talks about that. So I think yes, those are all great. But when you have someone that is like, that's all he knows.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to, and then at the end, he kind of understood, but he was still just like, no, I told her to do it. She needed to do it. And they would have piled up. And she even told him, why aren't you yelling at Mom like you're yelling at me about the dishes? Why can't she wash? And he was like, because I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. This is a me and you conversation. So it just like,
How did it all end up? Like, in the end, what was the resolution?
the resolution, I mean, he washed the dishes.
Uh-huh.
He ended up doing it. And when she let him know how he felt, he just kind of like shut down. Like, he just kind of like, I mean, they were fine.
Yeah.
They were joking with each other and laughing. It wasn't until we went to bed last night to where he was still like, I just want to beat her ass.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And I'm like, no, but beating her ass isn't going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you need to understand where she's
What should
coming
he
from.
have done to get her to wash the dishes?
Asked her.
Yeah.
He should, and that's what I told him.
Mhm.
I said, you should have approached it like telling her, Celeste, I would
Yeah.
really appreciate it if you would wash those dishes that have been in the sink. Like
I work my
Can
ass
you-
off in the
yes.
sun
can
every day to help give you this amazing life. I'm not asking for much. It's just washing some dishes. Can we get that happening?
and you know, if he would have done that, she would have easily washed the dishes.
Yeah.
But it was the picking and the, you know, challenging.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, you need to wash the, why didn't you wash those dishes and da 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 da, and he kept asking her. 2 days, y'all.
Yeah.
2 days dishes sat in our sink, which that doesn't happen. I wasn't gonna do it. I was like, them two can figure it out. Because how was I gonna make it better if I would have went in there and washed the dishes? Like there was beef between them two with the dishes.
So sometimes this is where you become the mediator, where you step in. Sandra, will you help him real quick? Or somebody, this is where we come the mediator, right? And step in and say, I'm intelligent enough to see the gap in communication here. You're behaving this way, you're behaving this way. How do we move this along in a better way? But sometimes also you need that confrontation, right? People need to have a fight to figure out like, oh shit, something bigger is happening here. Because most of the time it's not about the dishes. The dishes is a symptom of something bigger within Bacillo.
And that's what I was trying to figure out. Because I know you always say like,
Well, I'm gonna tell you, 99% of the time, most relationships, why is it that people get so upset? They don't feel
Appreciate it.
appreciated or heard, which is appreciation too, right? He did not feel appreciated. He wanted appreciation, and this is the problem. People are not mind readers. I can't go around saying, "Well, you should know how to fucking appreciate me." Or you should be
Yeah.
able to tell someone, "Hey, this is what I see as appreciation. I would like this to happen. For me, doing all of this, it's a simple gesture. If you could do this, I would feel more appreciated, and we wouldn't have to feel like we want to whoop each other's ass or yell or scream or get crazy. Is that fair? Awesome. So all I'm asking you is if for this one thing to help me feel appreciated, if you could do that, we could both live in a little more harmony. Is that cool? All right, let's do that.
that's what I told him.
Yeah.
He just has to learn how to talk.
So we'll move Joe and then Gene, and then we got to wrap this up. What you got, Joe?
No, I was just gonna say like that's like what Laura's story was. That's like case in point as to why people use AI more versus humans, because it's like, what good are you if you're just texting and emailing? Like, what good are you to me? Like, what do I need you for if I can just get the same answer through AI? The way we beat AI is you need to have those human conversations. Pick up the damn phone and have a heart-to-heart conversation with these folks, and that's how you beat the AI game. You use AI to benefit you. You don't get used by AI by just feeding it data, and it has those conversations for you. Because in the day, it's like, what do I need you for?
Yeah. Human communication's huge. Gene, anything else?
No. I mean, I just think it's for me, right? It's hard for me to go to my significant others and say, don't you appreciate what you got? I mean, you got it pretty good. And you got it pretty good because I busted my ass.
Yeah. No, I'm telling guys, Gene, I want y'all to understand this too, guys. This is a very common thing as a parent, right? We go to work, we come home, dinner's on the table, bills are paid, the lights on. We often, this is the typical scenario. We do the dishes, we clean the house, we do all this stuff, and we pay for a cleaner. Like, we do everything. The kids, they go to school, they come back, they do some homework, they do stuff. Like, they have their job, we have our job. Yet as a parent, it can feel like almost like a thankless job at certain times when they're really not showing you the appreciation. And I'll tell you, I've always told my kids, one of the worst things that can happen is you become a privileged, entitled person that takes everything for granted, like a little shit. Like, I don't want that. Like, that would hurt my feelings above anything else if you were not grateful for other people and the things they do for you. If you didn't feel like you had to work or help or contribute or whatever, that would be a bad thing for me. So a lot of times, like, it's okay to be on a drive. Like I will physically do this. I will say this. Don't you love that we have a vehicle that gets us from A to B? Isn't this awesome that we got to eat today? Isn't it great that this, that, and the other? Like, I'm gonna tell you, Mama, like, I did not live like this growing up. We did not have vehicles that worked all the time. We were the people on the side of the roads all the fucking time, and it was embarrassing, right? I was the kid in the lunch line that got the peanut butter and jelly sandwich because our school meal plan had ran out or whatever. Like, everything was done. Like, you need to understand what it's like to have what you have. You think that regular people get to just go get fucking Chipotle burritos whenever they want? This is not real life. We live in a bubble. You are blessed. There's a child out there in the world that wishes they had a dad that even spoke to them. There's a child out there in the world that wishes their mom would show up to one fucking game. There's a kid out there right now that his stomach is grumbling like crazy. They haven't eaten in 2 or 3 days, and yet you get it all hand delivered, wrapped in a bow, very nice and comfortable for you. I love you, and I just want you to understand what you have in front of you right now, because I was that fucking kid. And if you ever make fun of a kid with fucked up clothes or shitty shoes, or they don't have lunch money, or they don't have parents, you're making fun of me. And that shit's not fucking okay. We don't do that shit. We are better. But it's okay. You don't have those conversations when you're pissed off about dishes. Have those conversations when you're a nice, smooth ride on the way to school. Break every once in a while, toss it in there and break it down for them. Let them know how beautiful their life is. That we have.
I think that's the key right there. It's you got to get to that point where it becomes a habit. Let's talk. A habit. Let's talk. It's kind of like the church this weekend. I don't know if you guys go to New Hope, but it was through movies, right? And I kind of walked away from there like, damn, I didn't want to go because I'm like, I don't want to go watch a movie at church. But when I left, I'm like, okay, I get it. You're spreading the word through a movie, right? You got to talk about it to kind of get it. But anyway, it's all good, man. It's all good.
God, I'm telling you right now, sit down, go pick a movie, right? And sit down with your kids and say, we're watching this movie for a purpose. We watch the Christmas Tree Miracle every year because a family loses their house. They live in a shelter. They have to understand the shelter they used to give to, and they have to be on the other side, and they have to learn to understand. It is the most corniest movie ever in the world. But every Christmas you watch this movie. And I'm not afraid to tell them, like, do y'all remember the Abbeyfield house? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, we lost that house. We got foreclosed on and we had to move. So what you feel today, what you don't see, is a lot of things that went on to make this happen. And I don't say it to make them feel bad. I say it to understand, like, we are blessed. Ridiculously blessed. Do not take it for granted. All right, guys, what are we going to say? What is an amazing affirmation we can push through today? It's all about conversations, guys. Have conversations today. Some of y'all thought about somebody you need to have a tough conversation with today. If you thought about somebody, you should probably pick up the phone and invite them to lunch if it's a really difficult one, or make the call and have the conversation over the phone. Don't let it wait, guys. What are we going to say? Y'all give me some ideas.
Run to conflict.
Run to conflict. All right. Don't run from conflict. Conflict, like,
Run to it.
run to it. What else? Anybody else got any ideas?
Have the tough conversation.
I like that. Have the tough conversation. Are y'all down with that?
Yeah.
Let's do it, guys. Have the tough conversation. Today, you know what it is. It could be hopping on the phone, making your lead gen calls. It could be calling the damn leads, right? It could be somebody you love. So many different things. Have the tough conversation. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Have the tough conversation. Have the tough conversation. Have the tough conversation.
What's up, boo?
No, it's Brandon.
Oh, okay. I was like, nice.
We gotta get over here.
Yeah.
Good. Morning, brother. Hey man, you know what I'm grateful for? Everybody smells good. I smell so delightful. Right? I smell so scrumptious. This is amazing. All right, love you guys. Have a great day. Don't let the haters get you.